Another day, another show with some Switch 2 news, and we are going to start the day off talking about a boycott that has been catching some steam, and there are some reasons to think why it might work, as there are a number of people discussing boycotting the Switch 2. We're also going to talk about that Treehouse Live that came on today. Pretty interesting stuff. There was a lot of important messages that were being conveyed. I don't know if you've checked that out. But then finally, we're going to end the show talking about a game called Bloomtown that I honestly had missed. It's an amazing game, but I want to do a little rundown of it. I'm not going to do a full review or anything like that, but I did want to talk about it just for a little bit, give it its due, give you my thoughts, impressions, and if there is need or want for a full review, let me know in the comment section below. But honestly, I just really want to talk about it just in case some of you guys haven't heard about it either. But first, please hit that like and subscribe button. It truly helps the channel out, and it really keeps me sober. Just kidding. I'm not gonna put that demon on you guys. So there's this growing movement online talking about boycotting the Switch 2 because of its price. Now, I do think that there is some conflicting aspects of it, as you can see a whole range of Nintendo fans slash people who just hate Nintendo all coming together to agree that it's too expensive. The tactic is just to not buy a Switch 2. Don't pre-order it, show no excitement for it, get it to basically just drop out of the zeitgeist for right now and to lower all hype. Now, the reason why they think that this might work is because it actually has worked before, believe it or not. When Nintendo released the 3DS, many consumers got a huge sticker shock when they saw that it was $249, which I know for us now it's crazy, because honestly, I bought a 3DS about a year ago, and I paid more than $249. But anyway, back when it did drop, people were incredibly upset about that. But Nintendo was feeling good about themselves. The DS had sold incredibly well, and so they thought, let's cash in. We've got this new little 3D gimmick. It looks like it's futuristic. Let's get our cash out of this thing. So yeah, going for $249 at that time was pretty high. What ended up happening though is people just didn't buy it. And the sales were so low that within that first year, Nintendo dropped the price $80. And so when it dropped at $169.99, the 3DS actually did pretty well in sales. Although personally, I don't think this is a one-to-one comparison, because at that time, there wasn't a lot of software that people were just clamoring for. People were excited for a new, big, fresh upgrade. And really, at the time, it was the only handheld you could get your hands on, so did it really matter to have the newest of the new? Not really. It wasn't competing with anything else but itself. But you know what? I give my best to all the people boycotting, and if they get the prices low enough, awesome. I appreciate it. I'm not going to be with you, but spiritually I'm with you. Moving on, Nintendo did actually have another event today. It was a Treehouse Live, where you get to see some gameplay of some of the Switch 2 games, and when one of the games specifically came on screen, there was a massive amount of messages. A number of fans wanted their message and their voice to be heard of saying, drop that price. Drop that price was spammed throughout this entire event. Honestly, I couldn't believe Nintendo let it sit up there that long, but it was. And not that I believe there's anything nefarious going on or anything, but I do believe that this, just like the boycotting situation, is a bit of a combination of things. You do have like your true like groundswell organic movement, people who are really upset about the price, and then you have a lot of other people who are just hopping on because it's trendy, or the same people who are making social media messages, because literally they will comment on anything that's trending because that's how they get paid, even if they don't care one way or the other. So I kind of feel like there's a little bit of that with some of this, and it's not just with this. I think it's also with the boycotting thing as well. I think we're in a weird situation because you have some people who are generally concerned about the price of the games, and that happens to be like, I would say, the group that I'm with, and the ones who are saying like, look, I'm not paying $90 for a physical game. We all figured out that that's not actually real. And then the $80 price, we're very suspicious of Nintendo and Mario Kart World. Then there's a number of people who are actually talking about the price of the console itself, and this is where I think you're in a catch-22, because yes, one of the big things that I've had people reach out to me on is, hey, how can a family actually afford this? And I don't think you really can. I mean, even my own family, if I bought a Switch 2 for everyone in my family, just like how we all have Switches, it would be over $2,000. That's just not tangible for a family, especially in this economy. Unless you're super secure, you know your job's gonna be good, and you're upper middle class, or, you know, close to being rich, it's probably not something that's gonna happen right away. And I hate to cross that picket line or anything, thing, but honestly, I'm kind of on the side that is really only watching the game prices and concerned with that. $80 is unacceptable, and that's just where I'm at, unless there's some sort of free aspect of the game for DLC or whatever. Been through that. But the console itself, I'm actually okay with. When it is broken down, you can see that it's actually being sold to us at a little bit of a loss, perhaps. At least market value wise. And this is something that I've complained about with Nintendo. I want something bigger and better. Well, I expect to pay that price, and I'm fine with that. But the thing is that Nintendo is going to have to grapple with is the fact that there's a number of people who just want to buy something for their kid. You're not going to spend $500 on some handheld that your kid could drop and break and whatever, but it is nice to have everybody all together playing a game. So are we going to see like a Switch 2 Lite or something like that? And I think that's going to be important, as well as any sales coming up, because yeah, this is something that I don't think as a parent you can just buy 2 Switch 2s for Christmas or whatever, like the way you could with the Switch Lite. You could buy 2 Switch Lites, a game, whatever. You're looking at $400 or $500. That's expensive, but the other way, you're looking at $1,200, $1,300 easy. And again, that to me just is not tangible, not for most families. But what is tangible is a game that I've been playing recently that you could actually get on the Nintendo Switch right now for $24.99. Is called Bloomtown. This is a game that reminds me so much of like old school RPGs. I'm thinking Earthbound meets Chrono Trigger. But here's the twist, also with some Persona mixed in. Because you see, the environment of this game is phenomenal. It is great. And they do a really good job of blending this like 1960s Americana where the kids are allowed to go out and play and there's nothing to really worry about, but then there's an underworld, and in this underworld there's demons everywhere, and you happen to make a deal with Lucifer where you are able to tame and fuse different demons, and in combat you summon them, and that's how you can use different spells or buffs or debuffs or magic attacks. It is incredibly cool the way that they intermix that sort of Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Persona aspect into a game that is really old school RPG in a lot of ways. Turn-based combat, running around on a cool but yet linear map, and just kind of exploring as much as you can until you run face first into an enemy, and then you're sent into that turn-based combat. You do play the kids, as I said. You play Emily and her brother Chester, and you meet a few people along the way pretty early on. You can do a lot of different side quests and help the townspeople out, as you just moved in to this town for like a vacation, basically, and you're staying with your grandpa, and there's a lot of other townspeople and stores to explore. Also quests you can go on, like I said before, to earn a little bit of scratch so you can buy some weapons and upgrade yourself. Now, there's another aspect of the game that when you do level up, your spells and your demons level up, but your actual melee doesn't level up. That is only really predicated upon what you're using and how high of a level the tool or weapon that you have is. So while you're running around in the underneath, or the underground as you call it, you're constantly looking for chests to find better equipment or just some money so you can buy some better equipment. So aside from just having incredibly great gameplay, a super fun addictive loop to it, and having fun just like catching, taming monsters and exploring and potentially working with Satan, this game also just has wonderful, wonderful pixel art. Everything about this game, honestly, to me, has been phenomenal. My experience with it was actually heightened because it was only about 25 hours long. Now, there was some more stuff I could have done, and I think you have up to like 40 or 50 hours of gameplay if you wish, but just to finish the main story and some side quests, it took me about 25 hours, and for me, that was a perfect time. It was enough for me to get my money's worth and to have fun with the content, explore the story, really see the characters build and a lot of the growth that happens within the team. But yet it didn't make me go, oh my god, how much longer do I gotta play till I'm finally done with this game? So I absolutely love it. This for me is like a 10 out of 10 game. Would have been really high up in the Game of the Year awards kind of conversations if I had known it even existed, because it did come out in November of last year. Bloomtown, if you haven't checked it out, do yourself a favor and do that. If you don't like it, you can spam in all my videos that I suck and you hate me, and you can just basically join my mom and she does the same thing. But anyway, please let me know what your thoughts are on the two news stories. Bloomtown, have you played it? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on everything else with Switch 2? Anything and everything in that comment section is much appreciated. I love each and every one of you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.